That song is a banger, man. Sometimes I'll be ready, and I'm just like, I'm vibing. They can wait, make them wait. I'm just here head bopping. What's up, chat? Happy Thursday, December 30th, 2021. We got 4 games on the menu tonight. And yet another slate that may get flipped on its head thanks to health and safety protocols, man. I'm Gun and twitter.com/Gundacker. I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope you had a great night of action. Last night was a much bigger, also wilder slate where we saw for what felt like the first time DraftKings try to address the recent wave of health and safety protocols by aggressively pricing stud-type players with upside, and Fanduel did not. But now, today, Fanduel looks like they tried to make a step up, and they started pricing a couple cats pretty high. So it might lead to some wonky lineup construction tonight, which is not fun, but it's understandable. You want to add a little bit of skill gap into this game that we play. So we'll see if it has the intended effects. If when I was looking at it earlier, I was thinking, yeah, there's gonna be probably an overpay for like 4x in the optimal, but it is what it is. So we'll chop it up. We'll go through all the pricing. Last night, I only had one tier 1 on DraftKings, and that was Ja Morant. And I had 3 tier 1s on FanDuel, and that was Karis LeVert, Devin Booker, and Domantas Sabonis. So I feel like I nailed all my tier 1s site specific. And then just generally speaking, it was a high scoring night. Hamidou Diallo, your 3rd highest scorer on the slate, over 60 fantasy points on the trade. It was an incredibly weird DFS outcome, right? First of all, the Pistons lose 94-85. The team as a team put up 85 real points, and Sadiq Bey had 50 fantasy points, and Ham Diallo had 61. They combined for 63 of the team's 85 points. So that's pretty wild when you think about how quick we are to like not target low totals and low paces, man. I guess it doesn't matter if you're going to play 43 minutes and score 30 real points. But if you guys had them, they were definitely anchors in all of the winning lineups tonight. Terry Rozier, big game. Sabonis, big game. We knew Malcolm Brogdon was going to be out, so it was pretty easy to land on Sabonis and Karis LeVert going against the Charlotte Hornets. LaMelo Ball, big game. Another 50 bomb out of Nikola Vucevic for the Bulls, back-to-back in matchup against the Hawks. And then past that, it was a lot of what you expect. I would say the only couple of curveballs that happened, one, Alec Burks. Evan Fournier was a late scratch after that game locked. So he did benefit from, one, a soft matchup, but two, extra opportunity, 27 minutes, 34 real points. And then Ty Jerome, midway through the slate, SGA got ruled out. And Ty Jerome was very, very cheap on both sides. I think the bare bones mint on Fanduel, 3,300 on DK. He 24 real points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists over there. So if you were able to late swap into him, I think that was really, really good. Yesterday, somebody asked advice to use late swap, and I was like, use it. That's Exhibit A on using late swap. I was following the Millie Maker on DK, and he got up to 18% own, right? And I'm pretty confident that no one had him before the slate locked. And to get to 18%, if you guys want to get better at DFS, study the best. The best were playing that game, and for him to get to 18% is pretty impressive. I did see him up to 10% in some spots in my FanDuel contest. But that was yesterday in a nutshell. Other than that, I don't feel like there's too many surprises. Peyton Pritchard got into deep ownership, and he kind of busted. I was a little less than satisfied with what Malik Monk put out, and then Kyle Anderson. Oh, he doesn't have tickets to the game. We're taking him away from him. His heightened ownership did not go well, and he was an anchor in a lot of my top stuff. But it is what it is. Yesterday was yesterday. Today is today, though. We got 4 games, hopefully 3 of them at the same time, right at lock. So we might have a fun turbo opportunity, and then those games, the dust might settle. I know there's a couple of murmurs about the Denver game even playing with their recent string, so I guess we'll keep an eye on that. That would be a really, really odd experience to have that game yanked from us after the main slate locks, because you literally can't late swap to anything. So we'll see. Hopefully, if that game does get called, we get that information. What's up, chat? What up, Fish? What up, Kizar Khan? What up, Quinn? What up, Justin Brooks? Dang lazy mofos. It's time to play Health and Safety Protocol, the NBA Monopoly Edition. Yes, sir. What up, Damu? Christmas is over. Can we get Santa's sleigh off the intro? Bah humbug, Fish. What? Why do we hate Chris? Well, okay. You. Never mind. Never mind. AGB out of Bang again, so we had to go with the rain. What's up, Van Jones? Charlie Now? What up, GS Luke? Wish I could play PrizePicks. Ohio sucks. Oh, man. Anybody get on some Bradley Beal props when that Dinwiddie news came out? New Year's fam, you got like 358 days till Christmas again, bro. I still got, I mean, it is an awkward, not an awkward conversation, but it's one of those, how long does your Christmas tree stay up? Because, all right, mine's still up. And I don't really have plans to take it down. What up, EB? Just stock it. 20 likes, and all we do is listen to the intro and watch Santa fly into a bear. Let's go. What up, Shark Killer? Abdullah the Butcher. Everyone knows Wrestling Scripted, but that's Scary Man. Abdullah is the Scary Man. So is Bruiser Brody. E made it happen. Sleepy Joe. Nova Scotia. World Junior Hockey Tournament shut down and canceled. I can't say that impacts a lot of what I'm doing, but yeah, that sucks. Dinwiddie enters protocols. Yeah, that was that hit me right as I was updating the spreadsheet. So it is what it is. Man, Gunn, do you like Katie and Bede scoring over 26.5 today? Thinking that's cash. 26.5 real points apiece. Yeah, I could see the pressure on Embiid. I think with KD, I would lean yes, because he does average almost 30 on the year, but we do have a situation where he is playing with Harden. It is his first game back. Patty Mills is kind of grown into an offensive role there. If Patty Mills started again, there's another shot taker, and LaMarcus Aldridge could also. So, like, it's not a lot. I don't feel as confident on KD, but Joel Embiid would have to pick up a lot of slack, I think. Had LBJ, Diallo, and Ja in the lineup, and Pritchard, Anderson killed it. Still in the money, though. Man. Peyton Pritchard. The Pritchard giveth and the Pritchard take it away, man. I got my money from him earlier this week, but yeah, last night he tried to get me back. Although I was not near the field on exposure to him. He got to 60% in some of my DraftKings stuff, right? Don't the Wiz have Wanamaker now too? I do think they picked up Wanamaker the other day. Pritchard and Colin Anderson. Yeah, Bane of my existence. Yo, Desmond Bane had the over 18.5 real points on Desmond Bane, and he literally dunked into it by getting fouled at the end there, and he was sitting on 18. I needed the hook, and he hits both free throws to ice it. So shout out to Desmond Bane for hitting his shots. Oh man. Fish got that inside joke. Taking the tree down is too much work. The trees are so pretty. They're so pretty. Anyway, it's 3:13. We're going to go a little faster today since, I'm going to try to get you guys out of here in 30, 40 minutes. But I appreciate you guys stopping by, everyone that's here. All I ask, hit that thumbs up. Maybe double check. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are trying to get to 6K subs pretty soon. I think we can do it by the end of January. I was hoping by January 1, but we got a little case of the sickness. But we good though. We good. So let's open up. I guess we should open up spreadsheets here. Let's get. There's only 4 games, so it shouldn't be that complicated here. But I am solo, so if you guys do see some late breaking news, like you did yesterday with the PPD game, be sure to hit me up in chat, spam chat, and I will catch it in due time. This stream brought to you by RunDFS.com. If you guys want to get access to the tools, the proprietary spreadsheets, the stuff that I've personally created and leaned on for the last 6-7 years now, you can go to RunDFS.com, get yourself a membership, week pass, 2-week pass, month passes, year pass, all live, ready for you to grab. The year pass, we've tried to make that as valuable as possible. $649 for the year. It comes with a $150 fantasy cruncher credit, so you should be using an optimizer. If you choose to use Fantasy Cruncher, because of our partnership, you will get $150 toward their optimizer. I was looking at it yesterday, helping onboard a new user, and that $150 basically covers 2 months of the middle package. So you essentially can rebate the year pass into $4.99, which comes down to a little over $40 a month, which is a pretty cool value in my opinion, because I'm gonna break my foot off in spreadsheets every day and try to get you guys an expedited research process to efficiently digest, look at slates, research picks, and I cover that for NBA, NFL, and baseball. And I really every year I try to campaign to get more and more players to play MLB DFS, because I know it's intimidating. I know the learning curve is high, but man, I really think and I'm really proud of the spreadsheet I created for baseball to kind of ease that process. And I think I can turn a lot of you guys into casual fans, or turn casual fans into analytic processors. I don't know what that means. That's dumb. Just know I can help. Anyway, let's talk some basketball here. Underdog NBA. Shout out to Fan. If you're not on, if you're on Twitter and not following Underdog, I think it's 2_ NBA. You should be. This guy's the quickest with the news, and he deserves your follow. 40 minutes ago, he let us know Spencer Dinwiddie has entered health and safety protocols. Ed Davis available to play tonight for the Cavs. Dylan Windler, ironic, is available for after some conditioning concerns. And then the bigger news, Kevin Durant expected to play. Bradley Beal's questionable. If Spencer Dinwiddie, or with Spencer Dinwiddie now out, that could create some chaos if Beal's unable to go, but it would create probably a really high-owned spot for him on Fanduel, because I think I saw him still in the 8Ks, while most other 50-plus fantasy point potential studs were in the 11Ks. Jared Allen, doubtful. Aaron Gordon, Monte Morris, questionable. And that Nuggets game is already hit. Looking for some bodies to get that game going. KCP, questionable. And LaMarcus Aldridge expected to play. So that's what I got. Was there anything... If there's any other big news, or if I missed some big news, be sure to drop it in chat. We're going to be cross-referencing the spreadsheet and the NBA news and notes from RotoWorld. I got all the tabs open. If you want to play along at home when you're researching, I recommend having the Add More Funds NBA Wowie tool up, ! AMF in chat to get some of that. And then, of course, Stat Muse, I think, will come in handy today. So let's get down to business. Projected starting five for the 76ers: Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid taking on James Harden, Patty Mills, DeAndre Bembry, Kevin Durant, LaMarcus Aldridge. We'll see if Aldridge goes right back into that starting lineup. I think there's still a world with a Sly Claxton out there. But this is as healthy as the Nets have been virtually all year, but definitely in the recent history. And we've seen them stagger games without Harden, with Kevin Durant, without KD, with only James Harden, with no LMA. And because of this, a lot of players have grown into a price point that maybe they wouldn't be as efficiently suited if they had all played together for the last couple weeks. What I mean by that is James Harden a lock to pay off 11K on the court with KD and vice versa. Patty Mills definitely not a lock to pay off 7K on the court with those big three. So something to think about as we're trying to roster and maybe create some lineups around maybe some team stacks, since it is a short slate, but at the same time looking ahead on both sides. On FanDuel, notably, KD's 11.8, Jokic 11.7, Giannis 11.2, Harden 11K. There's a lot of 10 plus K players. We saw it yesterday on DraftKings as well. A lot of the same today. Jokic, Giannis, Steph, KD, Harden, Embiid, all 11K or greater. So you can't just play double studs with as much relative ease as we were able to do a week or two ago. So you got to think a little bit more about some of these clicks. Now, I do think there's a range of outcomes where all of these players don't drop 60, right? It could be one of those nights where they all drop 50, but if they all drop 50, I still think one or two of them end up in winning lineups. Whether or not it's optimal, we'll see. But I think our expectations and our process on what we want, what we need from 10, 11K might have to change a little bit for the now, because I do think we're going to be overpaying for some numbers that we wouldn't normally feel great about. But I think that's just the way life is for now, especially on this slate and what we saw last night. So I don't know. You guys let me know what you've been thinking, what you've been doing with your lineup construction throughout the day. As far as efficiency for the Nets, obviously there's still going to be spike games when Harden and KD play together. But now, like, do we think about staggering them apart in lineups? You know what I mean? Like, if Harden, no Durant. If Durant, no Harden. Definitely no Patty Mills. And do you trust KD to be completely unchained here? So, Kevin Durant, DKP by game log with James Harden. Let's go last 10 games. And we'll run this query twice for KD and Harden. So last 10 games with James Harden, KD, who, again, over 11K on both sides, has exceeded 60 fantasy points just once, and that was 45 minutes against the Phoenix Suns. Between you and me, I don't think he plays 45 minutes tonight. So you see what I'm getting at. Like, maybe the pricing is a little too aggressive. James Harden, DKP by game log with Kevin Durant. Let's go last 10 games on that. Running it back. A lot of the same. 160 again, and that 60 was in 40 minutes against the Knicks. So seems like the more likely outcome with KD and Harden on the court together is probably some dueling 50 bombs, and that normally wouldn't be a bad thing, but with so many players at 11K, you probably are going to have to get the guy that scores the most, whether it be by 5 points or 10 points. And I think pre-flop, it's easy to look at a guy like Nikola Jokic as a guy that should project to be the highest scorer. But we're also wrestling with that game even going. And then I'm personally wrestling with that game staying competitive. I know the Nuggets beat the Warriors last game, but Steph Curry has an incredible knack for bouncing back the very next game, especially against the very same team at home, right? Or to return the favor when you took the L at home. So I don't know, man. I don't know if I trust Denver in that situation. So there's a lot to wrestle with. Any tertiary or supplementary plays for the Nets in play for you guys? I do think we could really, really dilute the potential minute projections here for everyone. With guys like Bruce Brown, DeAndre Bembry, guys like that, like we might just take bare bones value for what it is. Do we sneak into a 20 fantasy point game? I don't think that Patty Mills has a median range of outcome or even a very minimal range of outcome where he pays off this price point 6.972 on the court with Harden and Durant. So let's go pull up that on-off court tool and maybe try and display that. But the Nets, I think, are a pre-flop mess. And I think the approach that I'm going to take, unless we get like Steve Nash quotes where he says that, we're going to look after KD's minutes tonight, which even then is you can only trust coaches as far as you can throw them. But unless we get like a clear-cut news that would raise the stock value in one of these two, I feel like my general approach with the studs today is probably going to be to stagger them. Maybe I have a little bit of overlap between KD and Harden in case this game shoots out. But in that case, I feel like Joel Embiid at the same price range would be a better investment for a little bit of a floor here, right? 40%, 39% assist rate for KD on the court for James Harden on the court with KD. Both guys sustaining a solid usage rate, 25% on Harden, almost 30% for Kevin Durant, and both of them over $1.25 on fantasy points per minute. Which is all great, but it's literally what you would probably need at 11K. So I'm curious to see what you guys are doing there. Just a 5.5 point spread here. Interesting spread. I think if you've been watching the 76ers, especially if you track that game against Toronto, letting Chris Boucher and Siakam do what they did, underwhelming to say the least. 5.5 could grow mid-game if you get a KD looking like KD was looking before he left. But if this game stays close, I do think we can plant a decent chunk of minutes and predictive value in minutes in a lot of these starters. I think Tobias Harris on Fanduel at 7,400. He's been garnering a lot of ownership at this price range anyway, as we saw last time out. And really the last couple games, even alongside Joel Embiid at 7,400, he's been a playable click. Last slate, I think didn't he have a triple-double against Toronto, I want to say? If not, he was doggone close, right? Yeah, he did have a triple-double, 52 fantasy points, and just missing the mark at 40 by a bucket here and there. With pricing being as tight and strong as it is, I might take high 30s from 7,400 on Tobias Harris and live with it. Joel Embiid, 10.8K on FanDuel, 11K on DK. Pre-flop, I get a 55 fantasy point projection on FanDuel, 51. Comparative to Harden and KD, it comes in a little bit higher than my KD projection. And right around the Harden projection. So Embiid in the very same game might be the guy I get the most of, just because I do feel like we concentrate the usage to him a little bit more. The backups are beefing up a little bit too. Andre Drummond in the mix, Gorgeous Nang in the mix, but I think we know we're going to get a ton of minutes from the starters here. Also, if we get somewhat of a shootout here, a 220 plus total, I can lean on some mid to long range shooters. Seth Curry kind of leads the charge for me in that regard, and maybe, just maybe, Furkan Korkmaz at 3,200 on DraftKings gets hot off the bench and drills 3 or 4 threes, and you wouldn't need a whole lot at 3,200 to maybe satisfy his price point. FanDuel, a little stronger of a stretch. You're not going to get that 3-point bonus, and he's $1,300 more. So very interesting game, but I feel like that's going to be a constant thought going through the games on the slate. Giannis is another guy that's going to be similarly priced as some of these studs that we're talking about here. The pushback on Giannis is that's a 14-point spread. The Magic are limping along, and then the Cavs game doesn't have any 11K studs. So I guess if you truly believe one of these 11K guys are going to be in the winning lineup, how are you guys managing that? How are you staggering that? I think Embiid right now is just going to be the guy I get to the most, and then I'll stagger Harden and KD appropriately. Holy cow, I got a lot of catching up to do on chat, man. Fan says we crush MLB every year. We definitely do. I'm on Kuzma and Dinwiddie as long as Beal is out. Yeah, I got a month subscription, just figuring it out. What up, Frank? Welcome to the club, man. If you do get a membership at rundfs.com and you have no idea what to do, step one is to click on VIP portal, and then there's going to be a bunch of links, spreadsheet. But the most important link there is the Discord. You get into Discord, I can get you everything you need to know past that. We do have spreadsheet links in the Discord as well. You like Kuzma no matter what? Yeah. Made a Hammer says, not a fan of this game today, just the studs versus stud game stack. Embiid might get a triple-double here and work that front court. Do we have any sample size on Embiid against the Nets lately? Like lately? DKP by game log versus Nets. Let's go last 10 games on that. Although I'm really just curious about the last 2 or 3 games. 12-16, he dropped the 50 bomb. 46-64. There's also like a world where all 3 of those guys just drop 50, and it's just like modestly impacting the rest of the slate, and then it becomes a situation of position scarcity, meaning if center was the most shallow position today, the 50 would be more valuable there than if, let's say, a small forward or a forward in KD spot was able to get you 5 to 7x on their price point and vice versa. And looking at the projections, that seems like something that I think happens a decent chunk of the time. What does this do to Kispert? Corey Kispert? I think Kispert would be potentially still in the starting lineup if KCP was down, you know. Don't know what's up with the Cruncher site today, but I'll try again in a minute. Is Cruncher down? I usually don't mess with Cruncher till about an hour or so before, maybe sometimes 2 hours. But if it's down now, I wouldn't sweat it too much. Clicking on it, it looks like it's up for me. My stuff's just generally slow when I'm streaming anyway. But if you have questions about how to use Cruncher for the first time, hit me up in the Discord. I'll try and get you. Yo, Nate, appreciate that like. Lorenza, yeah. What up, Lorenza? Is it a Wanamaker night? Just might be. I think Bembry could be value. He was still getting around mid-20s in minutes. I think that's fair. I got him about 24 minutes again. You know, him, Bruce Brown, guys like that are just going to be chipping chairs for 20, 24 minutes. If they get hot, they get hot. But we're kind of leaning on him to peripheral his way into some value, and I think that's fair. Also, I wonder what they what they think Thibault would be most valuable for them in terms of who he guards. Probably KD, and maybe we can push a little bit more expectation to a guy like James Harden. I also just I wonder if Steph Curry's just staring at us as a guy that might keep this game a little bit more close. You might see KD come off the bench the first game back. I doubt that. That would be crazy, but I doubt that. I you know what I'm saying? Some guys just start. They're not coming off the bench. Cue the Carmelo Anthony quote. I've been playing guys in the 9K range with upside big spots have done well. That's what I did yesterday, Craig. I threw my hands up and I was like, give me the 50 bombs at 8, 9K. And that's why I was so high on John Morant. And ended up on a lot of Devin Booker on Fanduel as well. He was under 8K, which I thought was ridiculous. What up, Tall? Yeah. Dominique, what up, Dominique? What up, Chronic? A lot of yurts. What up, William? Arizona Drums. It's kind of like a lot of 76ers. Do you think the Sixers are stackable? I think from a team perspective, other than Embiid, they are pretty obtainable, maybe more so on FanDuel. The Tobias Harris price point, $1,400 gap between his FanDuel to DK price point. Maybe it makes him a little bit more welcoming on FanDuel, but I think if you just start accepting between 40s and 50s, I think Toby could get you there. Drummond, what's the deal with Drummond lately? I know he was out for protocol, right? He hasn't played since the 16th. Do you guys think that there might be a few less minutes for Embiid consistently, right? There was a stretch where 28, 30 minutes was what Embiid was putting out there, and Drummond represented a little bit. Wonder if there's any less minutes for Embiid today because of Drummond's return, or they just leave him out there to try and win this game. I kept him at 35. I'm not going to overthink that, but I just am cognitive of Drummond being back after being out for, 2 weeks now. Something to think about. Top 3 MVP candidate, but can't get on the bottom of the screen. I'll tell you what. We'll work on I'll work on a January scene. And I think it is cool to have the players on the screen like this. So yeah, I'll try and make a spot for Steph Curry. Okay, maybe I'll let you guys vote for the players that get on there. What up, Paul? What up, Pat? How do you put him? How do I rank the top 4 studs? Embiid, Harden, Jokic, Curry. If the game plays, probably Jokic. Then probably Embiid. And then Harden and Curry are a coin flip, man. I'm telling you, Curry is just not. He's not been as consistent for fantasy as he has been in real life, right? And whether that be blowout induced or what have you. And then today, I believe Jordan Poole is back, so it becomes even more volatile because Poole can give you 15, 20. I don't know. I would say I'm lowest on Curry, but I also feel like that line of thinking is a little, I don't want to say chalky, but I think the average person or the average player's been thinking that way as well, where Curry's just like, he's giving me 40s and 50s, he's too expensive, blah, blah, blah. And I saw my boy Stu said he wanted to wait for a couple good games from Curry before he jumped on him. I kind of want to get to Curry before everyone else does because we're going to get him at a better ownership. So if he continues to be an average to meh play, coming in at the lowest owned of all the studs, I wouldn't have to have a whole lot of equity or give up a lot of equity to be 4 or 5x to field on him if he stays at a low teen to single digit ownership. So I kind of want to keep staying at the Steph Curry slot machine, but if I had to rank him pre-flop, he would probably be at the bottom of the list just for floor concerns versus the other studs, right? Charles Basie's been playing Drummond minutes even when he was playing. Yeah, that's true. Drummond was on the way out. Bertans is out. Ooh. Let me look at that. Oh, the game just got postponed, huh? Am I reading this right? The NBA has postponed the Golden State-Denver game, sources tell ESPN. So we're not ranking Jokic one. Nuggets don't have the 8 players. So we got ourselves a 3-game turbo at lock. So that'll shake up a little bit. So let me first of all, let me just delete this game from the spreadsheet and let that tell the story in projections for the Vipers that are working on the slate. From a sweat standpoint, it's fun. We're gonna have all the games going at the same time. From a DFS standpoint, might get a little weird. So taking that game out of the spreadsheet, I lose my 2 top projected players. That's crazy. All right, so I guess we only have to spin the wheel, make a deal on Embiid, Harden, Giannis, KD. I'm with it though. That's fine. I'm glad we got that news now. Shout out to the league. Anything else come out? KCP expected to play. Bertans listed as out. So that's not insignificant because they don't have Montrezl Harrell. And on top of, I think Raul Neto's been out and guys like that. So maybe Danny Advia is a stronger play, and maybe Corey Kispert for scoring as well, right? I'm still locking in Jokic. Let's go, Ant Maurice. He's going to be so low owned, bro. Almost a takedown yesterday for Tyrell. Shout out to you, man. I've been there. Almost. We've been almost. What up, Philly Shizzy? Gun, what minutes you put on Gafford tonight? I had him at 33. Remember, no Montrezl Harrell. And now no Davis Bertans, who is a big off the bench. He's not a backup center, but yeah, it's a good. What up, Kickstart? What up, Doug U? What up, Crispy? I'm trying to make sure I got everyone. Shout out to everyone that's in chat. Priceless Fame, Jordan Burkhead, Zach Scott. I'll finally actually be awake when the slate ends, bro. It's fun. What up, Keith? 100% Otto Porter looking strong. We wildin'. All right, so I guess that would stabilize our expectations for some of these 11K price point players, and I think that also raises the probability of an 11K 50 being in the winning lineup, if not two 11K 50s. I think generally it's one of those floor. I say we prioritize floor on the small slates and we chase ceilings on the big slates. I'm kind of there again today, so maybe a couple 50s isn't a bad thing. So I don't know. Let's move on to the second game though. Magic hosting the Bucks. Project 35 for the Bucks. Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bobby Portis taking on R.J. Hampton, Gary Harris, Franz Wagner, Mo Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr. We got a 218 total, a 14-point spread in favor of the visiting Milwaukee Bucks. So we actually just saw this game play out in both teams' last game. And I speculated that day, like Budenholzer likes to be weird and load manage some of his guys in lopsided spreads. And I thought maybe we would see that game. Wouldn't it be wild if we got that today? That would just be par for the course. But looking at this last slate, Hassani Gravett started at point guard for the Magic. Well, he's not available today. And Robin Lopez started at center for the Magic, and he's not available today. So we are filling in the blanks here with R.J. Hampton and Mo Wagner moving Wendell Carter to the 5, assuming that's the way to go. And then right now I've got a ridiculously loud train. We got Schofield, Tim Frazier for 20-plus minutes, but a lot of minutes on the starters, specifically Wendell Carter, Franz Wagner, Gary Harris, and R.J. Hampton. And this might be like the Detroit Pistons game yesterday, where even if the team drops 80 to 90, we might get a bunch of these guys playing close to 40 minutes, and minutes equal money. And they can't get blown off the court. You know what I'm saying? Like they gotta eat those minutes. So RJ Hampton at 3,900. If you're gonna give him 30+ minutes like I do right now, he's probably gonna be by default one of the highest owned players on DraftKings. Just thinking out loud. And then Wendell Carter Jr. Once we just deleted this Nuggets game, actually came in with a top 5 fantasy point projection. It's just 43, so it's still modest. But in the in context of the slate to be potentially top 5, it's something to want to get exposure to, especially him being that much more discounted versus some of his peers in front of him, 4K, 3 to 4K cheaper. So Wendell Carter's probably going to garner some decent ownership at a projection like that. And then guys like Mo Wagner, who can be a point per minute. It could also be a foul problem. Yeah, Franz Wagner, I think, is the guy that a lot of people would just go right back to. He was very much so worth having in that last outing. 56 fantasy points, 38 real points. I think I saw his point prop was at 15 and a half on price on this. They moved him to 18.5. I saw him at 15.5 earlier today, which I was like, man, that seems free. So even 18.5 is pretty light considering what they'll have to do here. And I don't even think it's worth even trying to go through it. It's really not. There's going to be no sample size on that. So we just have to know that Franz Wagner is probably their best pure basketball player, him and Wendell Carter. So I lean on them to be the most talented guys to put up some points and put up some fantasy production, and then everyone else we're just kind of leaning on for minutes. RJ Hampton on DK is a strong play at 5.3 on Fanduel. Usually want 25-35, but I'm getting 30+ fantasy point as my projection on that. And then Gary Harris also kind of netting me back 30 fantasy points. And sometimes you can get a cheap price on Gary Harris. So let's just type Magic in here and see generally what we're dealing with. They have Gary Harris 2.5 rebounds, 13.5 points, and no fantasy projection on Gary Harris, so just rebounds and points right now. Underdog just tweeted what? Mario Chalmers 10-day with the Heat. Oh, man. I'm coming home. Aaron Henry's also out. I have no idea who that is, but Aaron Henry is also out. I love that. Oh man, y'all are killing me. Y'all are killing me. Is Mo Wagner a good play? So Mo Wagner is somebody that I do like per minute. His per minute for fantasy has been great going back to the beginning of last year. Really, the last couple years, he was with the Wizards, right? The thing with Wagner is he can be a foul guy. 3 fouls, 11 minutes against Milwaukee last game. 5 fouls, 17 minutes against Golden State. 4 fouls, 13 minutes. He can be a foul guy, but you're going to have to get minutes out of him no matter what. So even if he fouls out in 25 minutes, I think at his price point on both sites, I think he's going to project for minutes no matter what, and probably would probably make some of my lineups against my better judgment. I think everyone on the Magic today is probably worth considering. And then digging into the bench a little bit, Schofield and Tim Frazier. Frazier is at least a guy that we are familiar with in terms of big league point guard ability. 21 minutes against Milwaukee last game, just 13 fantasy points, but did take 8 shots. We're taking away a lot of Gravit minutes to fill in, right? Gravit played 19 minutes, so we might get a couple extra minutes for Frazier here. I think RJ Hampton is young enough, strong enough to play close to 40 minutes if that's what they wanted. But yeah, this is wide open. Magic are completely playable, and it's insane that I'm running to stack a Magic team that is a 14-point dog. But like we saw at the Pistons last night, it may not matter. On the Bucks side, that last game for the Bucks, there really wasn't one good player from the Bucks points per dollar. And I think it's easy to overreact to that. Like I said, I still, in the back of my mind, kind of brace myself for a Mike Budenholzer road rest spot, load manage somebody. But I think points per dollar and price-wise, it's easy to be to feel unremarkable about everyone. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, if we get closer to lock and Embiid, KD, James Harden are all trending higher owned than Giannis, Giannis absolutely has every ability to be the top scorer on the slate. So I think that argument will be there no matter who is the lowest owned stud. But Giannis Antetokounmpo took 19 shot attempts against Orlando last time out. The peripherals were not Giannis-like. It was the game back where they put Bobby Portis back in the starting lineup and stuff like that. But 5 fouls in 30 minutes. If he stays out of foul trouble here, and the game stays surprisingly closer, maybe Giannis bounces back for one of those 60s, 70s. But pre-flop, it's pretty easy to expect Giannis to be able to compete with the other top studs. So in the first half of that game, Giannis missed a big chunk of that second quarter. Is that normal rotation for him? Let's see. He had no fouls here, and then the first quarter he picked up. Let me double check all these games, see if that's a normal rotation for him. Yeah, it looks like he does tend to not play the whole second quarter, at least not leading up to it. Giannis. He didn't play that game. So last 2 games. All right. I'll just make sure it wasn't anything like foul specific that we can give him extra 4 minutes. I put him at 32 minutes. They're pretty healthy overall, all things considered. The Bucks are. So I would probably limit to $2 in a lineup. Even getting like Dante DiVincenzo's back is enough to murky the waters for Connaughton, Grayson Allen, even George Hill, guys like that. So it's kind of spin the wheel. Still the front guys are Giannis, Drew, Middleton, and Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis might be one of those guys that sneaks into 40 fantasy points that we normally wouldn't be too excited for, but on today's slate, we might just take it. 32, 35, 38 his last couple games. 29 minutes against the Magic last time out. A couple boards away from a double-double. So really hard to read Bucks team. Easy to read Magic team in terms of minutes to be played, but oof, what a day when we're gonna load up on Magic players to make some lineups happen. We only got 1 game left. We'll take a pause for the cause. If you guys haven't signed up for PrizePicks yet, definitely recommend you do so. And if you do so, sign up using code GUNDACKER. They show me some love for you, showing them some love. And it's a whole lot of love just going around. It's just love, love, love. So if you guys haven't tried PrizePicks and you watch any DFS show, I know you've heard about it. I know you've heard about it. I know this is digging at your conscience that you want to try and see what the big deal's about. Try it out, man. I think the big slates like last night with the complete chaos, those are the most profitable nights for PrizePicks. But hey, why not go after PrizePicks tonight and just stack the magic in the lineup? Because if you start adding all these players together, somebody is going to score over their real point projection today. If you sign up using code GUNDECKER, they're going to match your first deposit up to $100. So $20 becomes $40 instantly. No slow drip. None of that playthrough nonsense. It is a credit that is applied instantly. So if you took advantage of the $100 deposit, it becomes $200 of playable money. And man, we are seeing big hits night after night. Even Raj and my boy Chronic last night taking down some money over there. Shark says, "How are you a grown millionaire man and you're still hanging around getting COVID when you just need to be at home chilling?" I don't know if that's how COVID works. 195 watching, man. Can we get 100 likes? That'd be lit. Gonna be tough to get different tonight. Might do a game stack. Aunt Maurice. I think that's some of you guys that miss baseball. You could just 3v3 stack every team combo, right? It's easy. That's how you win. Thoughts on Bill if he plays? We're gonna chop that game up right now. If Bill plays, he would absolutely be probably my highest owned Fanduel player. I'm somehow trying to make 60 lineups tonight, so I might do a full game stack. I would definitely do some game stacks no matter what. You have to. Scariest thing to do is be different. NBA leaving salary on the table more than usual. I think on this slate you shouldn't have salary left just because there's so many 11K guys where, like I said, even if you got to overpay for a 48 or something like that, I still think on this slate 3 games is likely going to be lower scoring than you guys have been accustomed to lately. What's the site for your articles and such? Gonna come and show up here on YouTube or something. Fire. Man, I appreciate that, Keith. I actually don't do articles. That's a lot of work for no shelf life. Most of my, almost 99% of my content is video based, live content on this channel, and then you can catch me once or twice a week on Osmo as well. RunDFS.com though is the site for my premium stuff, the spreadsheets and the Discord stuff like that. Even that content is very live, right? The pre-locked voice chats, I'm just in there talking. I got 6750 on PrizePicks. I had no idea it was there. Let's go. Yo, PrizePicks does so many promotions. Sometimes you get extra money and don't even know about it. What up, Darnell? Here. And Beater Gafford on Fanduel. Come on, Andrew. Tim Frazier Chalk Nights used to be fun. Could a balanced build be effective tonight? Could we make a balanced lineup? I feel like you'll get one 11K guy just by default. But let's talk about the last game, then we'll drive into maybe some lineup construction strategy. Cavs at the Wizards. Project starting 5 for the Cavs. Kevin Panjos, Isaac Okoro, Larry Markkinen, Dean Wade, Evan Mobley. Taking on Bradley Beal, Corey Kispert, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, Kyle Kuzma, and Daniel Gafford. So the Wizards did lose Spencer Dinwiddie. We are still waiting on news for not only KCP, but also Bradley Beal. So there's a world where we could have another full-on scrub team, and that would be another source of value going against a perceptually tough defense. But this defense is without a couple anchors, right? No Garland, no Jared Allen, and unfortunately now no Ricky Rubio, so maybe a couple steps backward. So let's see if we can't get all the information we can possibly get from the Washington Wizards injury news and notes via Roto World. Bradley Beal is questionable. He's missed at least the last 2 games, right? 6-day quarantine period could allow these guys to suit up a few days earlier than expected. Per usual, it just depends on how much time it takes to get back up to speed. Dinwiddie said blah, blah, blah. All right, so I guess they have to test out. Is that what we're waiting on? Them to test negative? Pope feels, or they are eligible and it's up to them? I don't know these rules, guys. We also have a Q tag on Anthony Gill, Isaiah Todd, and what we do know is Montrezl Harrell's out. We do know that Davis Bertans is out. So this would be probably the team that shapes the slate, as awkward as that sounds. Let's just, for now, for argument's sake, assume that Bradley Beal can go. Let's pull up the Washington Wizards. Wowie. Why are you hating on Gafford? I'm not hating on Gafford, but I'm not hating on what? No, that's not. It's a Gafford or Embiid. Like, that's not the same. You know what I mean? Like, that's not even a 1v1 like in price rise, but definitely not in point projection. But I'm not hating on Gafford to play, but it's like saying, I don't know, James Harden or Tyrese Maxey, right? There's a giant gap in price to where it's not really a 1v1. But that wasn't a hate. It wasn't a dog. My bad if you got offended. Let's put Beal on the court for this season. Let's put Dinwiddie off the court. We'll just do the Dinwiddie split. I'm not going to do a whole lot else in terms of like, I don't know, KCP or whatever. And for this season, Bradley Beal has a 31% usage rate in this split, a 1.17 fantasy point per minute. So it would come down to your comfort level on his minute projection, but historically, Bradley Beal has been a guy that can handle the load. Missing a couple games, sure, maybe we worry about his conditioning, but I'm not too worried about it. Cavs don't really run a massive pace, neither do the Wizards. So at 8,300 on FanDuel, if we knew right now that Bradley Beal is in and there wasn't any type of ridiculous cryptic coach speak about monitoring his minutes, 8,300 is probably tier 3 levels of usage for a 3-game slate that is just the risk reward is too great, right? 10.1K, there's a little bit more pushback where even if he got you a low man's 40 or mid to high 40, 10.K doesn't automatically make that optimal. But 8,300 Bradley Beal could be in line to be a tier 1 play if he's able to go. Corey Kispert is a guy that has seen some starter minutes as of late. Kind of stepped up in the absence of Bradley Beal while Dinwiddie started. He has seen 35, 39, 32 minutes in his last 3 games. Hasn't really parlayed those minutes into a lot of fantasy relevant production, but minutes equal money on a 3-game slate, and there's going to be some ugly guys in your lineup tonight. And like I said, you might get a guy that generally would tank a lineup, like if Kispert dropped 17 on a night like last night, that tanks you. But on a night like tonight, it just might be enough to make that dog hunt. So 3,600, 100 above mid on FanDuel, 4K on FanDuel. I might keep him in the mix, hoping for 20 plus. If KCP was not able to go, it would raise my expectation in terms of minutes for Kispert, and not really raise my expectations in terms of fantasy points, but it would at least increase the possibility of him being a strong play. If KCP did play, he'd be in the mix, and then Kyle Kuzma is probably playable no matter what right now. 6K on FanDuel, 68 on DK. Looking back at this split, Kuzma had a 19% usage rate, 0.9 fantasy point per minute on both sides, but still enough to spin the wheel, make a deal with. And then you guys mentioned Daniel Gafford. They're going to need his size against this Cavs front court. Even with so many guys out, Mobley still represents some size you need to match up with. And with no Montrezl Harrell, there's definitely a path to 30-plus minutes for Gafford here. So Gafford is definitely in play. And at 5K, normally I want a shot at 30 fantasy points. I think that's about appropriate here. 36 minutes against the Heat, 22 minutes against the Sixers. A little bit lopsided, got in foul trouble, and that was the game that Montrezl got ejected, right? So Montrezl Harrell also represented some minutes in that game. So without Harrell, we've seen Gafford play 30-plus minutes. So yeah, I think 30-plus minutes at 5K is definitely just automatically in the rotation. On the Cavs side here, this guard situation is getting weird. Without Rubio, without Garland, without Colin Sexton, and then we've got Jetty Osman and Windler with Q tags. Isaac Okoro, Kevin Pangos, guys like that might be names that we have to consider, and they're cheap enough that I would consider them. I'd probably like to do a little bit more research before lock to maybe get some quotes from beat writers to see if they're strong enough plays for me to get in the mix. But the guys that I expect the most out of, one, Kevin Love, I got him as flirting with 40 fantasy points. He definitely could pick up a lot of real scoring responsibility. I put him at 30 minutes. That shot back 40-plus fantasy points considering the potential uses that he would have today. Dean Wade at 3,700 on DraftKings will unfortunately probably be a guy that I have to almost core value. And then depending on the status of guys like Jetty Osman, I might have to really sink my teeth into him, but also Larry Markkinen. And I think Markkinen's real point prop is something that could be interesting as well. Let me get the status on when Windler will be available. All right, that's good to know. And then Jetty Osman. What's the note on Jetty, if anything? Mobley should dominate the glass. I agree with that. Has entered. I got nothing new on Osman, but Osman's somebody that we've seen in the past draw stars to be productive, and I don't think we have a for sure status on him here. If he was able to play, maybe he gets some ball handling opportunities. So it would really make the Cavs hard to predict pre-flop, but I do think the upside's easier to spot. Denzel Valentine's interesting as well. You may remember him from the Bulls, right? 3,300. We saw 24 plus minutes in 3 games straight. Wide range of outcomes, but there is a ceiling at this price point, and perhaps a stronger ceiling with Rubio being down. Right, he can represent some veteran play against a potentially weakened Wizards team. This might end up being the lowest scoring game on the slate when it's all said and done. But I still think there's plenty to like and attack here. And then Evan Mobley, 7 to 8K on both sites. I think 40 plus fantasy points is there for him. The Wizards have been really weak at giving up points to the opposing center position for fantasy. So Mobley is looking like a strong play here. And then Kevin Love on both sides as well. So a lot to like, a lot to be worried about, and a lot to have no idea what's going on. We're just going to have to trust some projections and coach speak. Should be fun. NBA DFS 2021. Do you know Dway? What are you guys doing with this, if anything? Andrew Martinez says, is the Wizards game the lowest total on the slate? I believe yes. Yes, it is. And it's the, I guess it's the lowest pace game on the slate as well. Markkinen's at 15.5 real points on PrizePicks. That's interesting. Because they have to replace a lot of scoring, and he's been taking double-digit shot attempts as it is. So 15.5 is definitely within earshot here. And in that last game alone, Rubio represented 27 real points. So I don't know. Obviously, this isn't the Pelicans. But 15.5 is very interesting. I would be interested in the over on that. What up, Damien? Pongo's value? Yes. Hey, man who is ignoring me. Someone is very nice offering to donate a week pass if you want to do one. Sure. I can do one. Are we at 100 likes? Is that the goal here? Wait, what is this? Why do I have a phone? Oh, okay. I see what happened now. There's like a phone icon on my end, but that was just an emote that you were using. Got it. You read that one? I didn't. I'm sorry. Chat is just going so fast, babe. I can't see. We're at 100 likes. Are you guys suggesting that we should do a week pass giveaway? They changed the rules daily. I read an article said that we're seeing so many positives because of new Omni. I stopped trying to think that I could understand the COVID stuff, man. All right, I guess if you guys are doing we'll do a week pass giveaway. Chat, if you guys got questions, comments, concerns about the slate, throw them at me. And looks like we want to do a week pass giveaway. If you guys are out of here, again, just hit that thumbs up on your way out. And then tomorrow we'll be back at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. But for those of you sticking around, I will pull up the chat bot, and we'll do a 5-minute timer on it. Give away a week pass at rundfs.com. Giving away a couple this week. So shout out to, I assume it's Fish that sponsored it. I don't know. Yeah, if you ever need my attention, babe, literally just say hey. just maybe. I'm also I'm hungry. Alright, let's complete the last one. Shout out to J. Cole and Josh that won the last giveaway. Let's reset the timer on that. We'll do a 5-minute week pass giveaway. Alright, you guys know the rules. Everybody knows the rules. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. If I'm not gonna see any of you guys before the New Year, Happy New Year. Be safe out there. But I will be back tomorrow for sure. It wasn't fishy. Oh, who's sponsoring it, babe? Babe, who's sponsoring it?
A very nice human.
Do I know them or is it you?
What? It's not me.
Oh, okay. Ryan says Evan Mobley or Carter Jr. Probably Carter Jr. just because, not even but probably Carter Jr. But I also think, so somebody had talked about earlier about a balanced lineup being viable. I haven't tried to make a balanced lineup, but I guess it would be like Mobley, Wendell Carter, maybe Tobias Harris, guys like that. Like if you want to completely avoid all the studs, like I guess that's not impossible. 5-1 per, and then who do we say would be too cheap to avoid? RJ Hampton. I think RJ Hampton just might coagulate into like 70% ownership. It's not a sexy lineup by any stretch, but I guess you could theoretically make a balanced lineup. Franz Wagner could be a 50 bomb. Who else might overproject at their price point? Mo Wagner, potentially. Put him in the mix at a forward spot, util spot, 5'8". Maybe we get a guard. Maybe we can pure punt the guard spot once. Bembry, no, don't love that. Tim Frazier, maybe. A little balling on a budget. Maybe Pongos. Corey Kispert. I think Kispert's interesting. Does Frazier get us anything crazy? 8,600 for that shooting guard spot. No, he does not. And then if we took Kispert at that shooting guard spot to give us anything worth having at that guard spot, Patty Mills, no, it doesn't. It's not fun. It's not fun. I still think at least one stud's in the optimal. Even if it's a 50 point, you know what I'm saying? Like it just feels like it's on a 3-game slate. It's hard to not see an Embiid, KD, or Harden be optimal. Even a Bradley Beal at 10K on DraftKings might be the ultra hard to click, but makes way too much sense spot. Where am I at? Let's pull the dashboard back up. All I said was someone very nice came in my DMs and offered a week pass donation. Well, that's lit. What up, Justin Jennings? Happy New Year to you. A lot of raffles on FC. Go by ceiling or floor on this slate. I don't have these players. So I mean, I still script for ceiling no matter what. But I meant like when I'm creating my player pool, I have a higher appreciation for the floor. Let's go home. Giuliano. Let's go home. I appreciate that.
I'm half in a bag beer on Gafford tonight.
Half in a bag beer. Do they make beer out of a bag now? I don't do alcohol, guys. I don't know. I once drank sweet tea out of a bag from like Applebee's, and I thought I hit the lowest point of my life. Kazar says, do you like Mobley point prop or rebound better? Probably rebound. I honestly don't even know the difference. Let me go.
Let's go home.
Let's go home.
Ladies and gentlemen. Let's go home.
8.5. Yeah, I'd probably take the rebounds.
Let's go home.
My poll so long. Unlike this slate.
Yep. Take the red pill. Do I have never won? Please give me a linen lineup. Man, dude, kind of down bad right now, ain't you, James? Come on, man. Compazzo shooting guard. Yeah, Romy, that game got yanked from us, so we lose all of those value, guys. But yeah, on so when I script this slate, Nate, I'm still scripting by ceiling, but when I'm creating my player pool, I'll have more guys that or maybe more volatile in terms of achieving their ceiling, but they still give me a decent floor, whether it be minutes or real points. Whereas if I knew a guy that was 3,800, like yesterday, a bigger slate, if a guy's under 4K, I'm not playing him unless I can see 30 fantasy points as a range of outcome. Whereas today, even if I see 20 points to 24 points as like the more reasonable outcome, I'd still get to them a decent chunk, because I do think overall the scoring is probably going to be a lot lower today than your typical NBA DFS slate, just because there's less games and pricing is pretty tight. Like all the studs are pretty hard to get to. So I'm still scripting by ceiling. I'm just making my player pool have more guys that are more floor plays than ceiling plays, if that makes sense, you know. Can no longer enter the raffle. Are we good? We good? Stacking 76ers, running it back with KD. I think that's fair. All right, raffle's over. So if you win this, are we doing 1 or 2?
One.
One? Oh, okay. All right, so we're giving away a week pass here. You guys know the drill. If you win this, DM me on Twitter. I need an email address. Justin Jennings. I feel like Justin may have been a Viper in the past. So Justin Jennings, DM me on Twitter, and I'll get that week pass added to your account, and then we'll be good to go. I won. How do I claim the pass? This guy. DM me on Twitter. Also put your Twitter in the chat here. Just one, right? I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Please. James said, please give a 20 Navy submarine veteran a winning lineup. James, that ain't it, bro. That ain't it. Shout out to Justin. Shout out to J. Cole. Would love to win a week. We can do 2. All right. Apparently we're doing 2, chat. All right. So just for transparency's sake, we'll draw the second one here. Second one is to Jared Bell. DM me on Twitter, Jared and Justin. I'll get that added to your account. Bam. All right, hey, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, should be a big Friday night slate. There's no football tonight, so we get to just sweat all the games at the same time. Lock is lock. So at least appreciate that. And then it's just like a turbo slate, bless you, at the same time. And we'll have some fun with that. And then you guys can call it early, right? You can actually go out tonight after lock and not worry about your lineups. Whatever happens, happens. You can't change a doggone thing at halftime, right? So at least appreciate that. And then come back tomorrow, recharge. Don't be overly results-oriented to tonight. And then, you know what? I actually reserved some tickets for the showdown. The Fanduel single game on Nuggets and Warriors, so I guess I get that back. Yeah. Anyway, hit me up on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundacker. If you guys got anything else for me, I am doing onboarding for the Year Pass subscribers. So if you haven't got your Year Pass for 2022 and you need to, hit me up, DM me on Twitter, DM me on Discord. And then a couple of you guys have asked if I would throw in some Fantasy Cruncher coaching or just some coaching in general. Always. Every day before lock, I'm in the pre-lock Discord, so I can help you out there. But also, I don't mind doing some one-on-one sessions. So just help me out. It's all help me out. Just hit me up, and it's all circumstantial, man. I hope you guys crush it tonight. Stay on your feet. Head on a swivel. More news coming. It's gonna be a weird slate, but we're gonna have some fun. I love you guys. Hope you crush it tonight. Good luck. God bless, and go win some money.